come here, I got something I want to tell you. You don't lose your voice suddenly, you just miss the early signs. Hello, welcome to my channel, Keys to the Vox. I am Shakira, your voice specialist with Keys to the Vox Vocal Academy. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe, like this channel, like this video, and forward it to everybody. I am someone who's been working for a long time on my voice and on many other voices, and I just realized I need to get out here and spread the word and tell y'all some stuff that I've learned, a lot of stuff that I've been working on and learning. So the thing I want to talk about today is vocal fatigue. Most singers, by the time they realize that they have it, it's kind of late in the game. So I got some points for you today. Get your notepads, whatever you got to do to write this stuff down, to record it, so you can go back later and apply it to yourself. Ask yourself some questions. So I got 4 points for you today. The first one is, what is vocal fatigue? Like, everybody talks about vocal fatigue, but what exactly is it? What vocal fatigue actually is efficiency loss, not injury. So people assume that vocal fatigue means that you have an injury. That's not true. Vocal fatigue will come before the injury, but what it is just a loss of efficiency. All of a sudden, things aren't working right, basically, is what that means. Things are no longer efficient, effective. Your voice is not doing what you normally expect it to do, or things have become harder for you to execute. Things that were once easier are now not easy or are now harder. So you've noticed these things, you feel these things. That is what the vocal fatigue is. Tired. When you're fatigued, you're tired. You're tired. Maybe you have less energy. Think about when you use the word fatigue, when it comes to just like how you're feeling. If you're sick, if you're feeling fatigue, you're feeling tired, you're feeling low energy, all that kind of stuff. Same for your voice. So why do singers miss it? Why do singers miss this? Why is it that for centuries, for ages, singers have been missing this clue, this vocal fatigue clue, or even noticing that they have the vocal fatigue and jumping into action and making some changes? And why is it that they get it, right? Why do we experience this? One of the reasons is adrenaline. When you are in the moment and you are pumped up and you are singing, you are performing, you just got the adrenaline. Literally, adrenaline overrides a lot of the things that you feel. So if you know anything about adrenaline, it'll push you through some stuff. And most of the time we talk about adrenaline, we talk about fear in situations where it's like fight or flight. Adrenaline pumps to keep you safe, right? To get you through, to get you to safety. And adrenaline could be a reason why in those moments of performance, when your adrenaline is rushing, you're all excited, you might not even notice it until later when you're all calm and your adrenaline levels drop down. Another reason could be rehearsal mindset. Okay, so you might be in rehearsals, you might be like, I gotta repeat this, you're pushing, you're trying to practice, you're trying to get things right, and then you miss it. You miss that you're tiring your voice out, you're tiring yourself out. You might not even be getting enough rest because you're kind of just hyper focusing on what you're trying to accomplish. So that rehearsal mindset, right? Just trying, we got to do it again. We got to do it again. You did it 10 times. Now relax. So you might be in that rehearsal mindset, and that's fine. We love hard work. We love the work ethic, but you got to look out for that instrument. You can't rehearse one more time at the expense of your voice. And so that could also be linked to pushing through. So we have this tendency a lot of times, especially in contemporary music styles, to want to push through, right? You're like, I gotta just get this done. I gotta get through this performance. I gotta get through this rehearsal. I gotta get through this moment. And you're just pushing your voice to the limits. But there's things that we can do. We can back off. I talk about backing off all the time. We can back off. We can use different registers, right? Different vocal placements especially if you're in rehearsal, you might not be going for the gusto the whole time. You can just lighten up on that tone a little bit, right? Protect the voice. You don't have to push through fatigue. You can stop singing. A lot of the A-list celebrities, watch them when y'all go to them concerts. Them BGVs be singing, y'all. They be screaming back there on a lot of those parts. Why? Sometimes it's for vocal conservation. Sometimes these people are literally like, I have like 25 more cities to sing and do these concerts in. I actually need a voice for the last leg of this tour, right? So that you got some of the BGVs stepping in and singing a lot of the parts, or they take that mic and point it right to the audience. Y'all sing, right? And then the audience is screaming, singing all those lyrics and stuff, right? So some of that is tactic. You don't have to push through vocal fatigue. I've seen it done. It's not worth it. You could pay the price on the back end. Okay, number 3. What does it sound like? When I have vocal fatigue, what might that sound like? So one of the biggest clues to it is breathiness. If you start getting, if normally your tone is ah, and then you got ah, and it's just airy, and you can't, right? You're just struggling, and that might be an extreme case, but maybe it's a little bit of air, right? A little bit more than normal, and you're losing air in those long notes, and even regular phrases, regular passages feel like I just can't get through it. I'm just losing my air, and normally I don't. That could be also a sign that it's a breathy tone, right? So don't sing it like this, and you tired, your voice need to rest, right? And normally you'd be right here, and you tired, your voice need to rest, right? You need to rest that voice. Don't push through that, right? That's one sign. Another sign is instability in your higher range. So now you get up there in them high notes and you can't stick it. My teacher used to say, stick it like a gymnast, right? How they flip and then they boom, they plant both feet and they there, right? If you can't stick that high note and see it through in a healthy way, and that note just a wavering, cracking, you feel like it's about to give out. You know what it feels like when that voice is about to give out? That is a sign of vocal fatigue also. Right? And that it sounds literally like the sound is about to stop. Come down off of that high note, find another way to embellish that melody, right? Where it's comfortable, where you speak, maybe more than likely. Don't go for those high money notes anymore in this moment until you give your voice a rest. You are vocally fatigued, right? That could be a sign also. And inconsistent tone. So normally your tone is butter. Normally that tone is in there, right? But today your voice just feeling a little scratchy. Your voice just sound a little hairy, right? Normally you got that ooh, but today it's like ooh. It's not quite creamy, you know what I'm saying? Got a little scratch in there. It's not normal. That's a sign of fatigue also. Okay, that tone got to be smooth and consistent. So it comes down to the last thing. What do you do? What should I do if I'm experiencing these things? If I'm having this breathy tone, inconsistent tone, and the high notes just aren't where they're supposed to be. What am I supposed to do? You didn't tell me all this, then now what? Right? That's the question at this point. The first thing to do is reduce your load early. Reduce your workload before things get too bad. When you first start feeling that fatigue, and you'll get better at noticing when your voice is fatigued and what that looks like and feels like for you, because different, everybody's got different bodies. So my workload ability, my bandwidth might be bigger than yours might be bigger than mine, but I know my body, I know my voice, and so I can tell like, oh, my voice is getting tired. I can even tell ahead of time at this point when I'm doing too much because my body feels tired. I know I didn't get as much rest as I wanted to get the night before. I know I didn't eat like I wanted to eat. I know I've been missing some water. So tell the signs as early as possible. That's the trick. That's the key, to get ahead of it, right? And then do something about it. Decrease your workload, right? You can't do that rehearsal, maybe. Or if you go to the rehearsal, don't belt the whole time. Try to use like a lighter, thinner vocal fold, like a head voice through it, or maybe just belt it out one time, after you've done it. Y'all, if you guys are going to rehearse the song 3 or 4 times, do the first 3 times in a lighter vocal tone, the head voice or something, and then the last one maybe belt it out a little bit, a little harder. But you got to know when to say, I can't do that. I need to rest. And or no, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it. Don't take the gig. You might not be able to take that gig because your voice needs to rest. All right? So you got to know when to make these decisions as well. Another note here is to stop testing your voice constantly. So everybody's chasing the high notes, everybody's trying to achieve something, and that's great, but you don't have to keep testing it and pushing your voice past the limits. It's like a rubber band. You keep on stretching the rubber band, what's going to happen? Boom, it's going to pop. Okay? So we don't want your voice to pop, and more than likely it won't. But there are other things that can develop, and other, injuries and things that can result if you keep abusing it. And we don't speak that. We hope and pray that those things do not happen. But also, just stop pushing your voice so often. Am I saying stop testing and stop trying to find, ways to push your voice into other uncharted areas? Maybe. No, I'm not saying never do it. I'm just saying as often and constantly, right? Don't do it so often and so much. And one more time, adjust your intensity. That doesn't mean you have to stop completely. Like I said earlier, you can be less intense. You can kind of sing your way through it if you need to. And so those are mostly the things that I would do. And on top of just like drinking your water, getting your sleep, all the stuff that you're supposed to actually do, and speaking and using the voice as less as possible if you can. All in all, healthy singers, professional singers, smart singers don't wait all the way until the fatigue has been prolonged and things are getting worse. They learn how to detect these things early, how to see and spot that fatigue coming way ahead of time so that they can take action, preserve their instrument, and preserve their bodies, because your instrument is in your body. It's a part of your body. So you preserve it, you do the best that you can to identify. That is what's going to make you a skillful singer, one who knows their instrument, one who's a pro. All right? Detect early. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm Shakira with Keys to the Vox Vocal Academy. Subscribe to my channel, Keys to the Vox, for more vocal health tips and style and genre and performance. We're going to do all that stuff. Stick with me, you guys. We're going places.